All right, so the first two episodes of Star Wars Skeleton Crew dropped last week. I watched them. I thought they were pretty solid. I'm excited about this season, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the episodes. And it seems like most of the people I've spoken with, most of the stuff I've read online, a lot of people feel the same way. We're going to look at some numbers here in a second that kind of back that up. Even Star Wars Theory here, somebody who has been sort of chuddy over the last 6 to 8 months, says here, sums it up at the bottom, no complaints, nostalgic AF, and made me remember being that age, fun, and has a lot of positive things to say up here, comparing it to Jumanji, Goonies, Zathura, Harry Potter. And this is totally the vibe of the show. And I think a lot of people went into the show expecting this. You know, we were like, yeah, this is probably what it's going to be. However, there are some people that are so caught up in the narrative and the grift and the monetization of outrage that they have to come up with things to be mad about. And going after the kids wasn't going to be acceptable. Social media had already decided that for them. If they did that, it would have been really tough for them. However, we have Chris Gore here, who has some really interesting comments about Skeleton Crew. I agree, Skeleton Crew is a fun and solid Star Wars show for kids. In episode 3, you'll meet the parents and learn one character has 2 moms. They just can't help themselves. Modern messaging must be inserted no matter what. I'd have preferred they kept the parents out of it altogether. Well, Chris, I don't believe you. I think you are a big, fat, stinking liar. I think that you know, just like the rest of us, that a show with kids being, you know, on this journey in a spaceship, traveling around with like space pirates, that you have to have the parents to make any of this make sense. Who's looking for the kids? Why would they be in any threat or any danger whatsoever if we did not have the parents to rely on for that? How would the story even move forward from the first episode without the parents being included? You're a liar. That doesn't make sense. I don't believe you. You don't have me convinced at all because you're being sarcastic. So I don't believe you when you say this other stuff. I just don't. I don't. You know, another thing is in this show, we have believable stuff. We have unbelievable stuff. It all exists in this world. It's the suburbs of Star Wars. We have schools with a bunch of kids in it, with teachers, cars, bicycles, scooters. We have unrealistic things happening. We have characters like Neil, who I don't know the name of the alien race, Elephant Kid. We have a Wolfman pirate. We have all those magical elements of Star Wars inserted into a world that's supposed to resemble our world. That's the point of the show, is we have this world that resembles what our world is like. It makes it very familiar for us so that we can connect with the story and these characters and the threat that these kids are going through. That's the whole point. But here you have Chris Gore expressing homophobia because he would rather sacrifice an entire element of the story, being the parents, an entire important element of the story. He would rather sacrifice that than to have a lesbian couple in the show in a supporting role. That is a level of hate that you have to, like, that's baked in. That is baked in. You don't want to see queer people so badly, like your disgust of us is so insane that you would rather sacrifice the quality of the show just to make sure that we were not visible in that series. That's wild. I also want to point out that this doesn't speak to the quality of the show, right? It doesn't speak to the quality of the show. He says here, if what he's saying is true, that he thinks it's a solid Star Wars show for kids, and his only opinion negatively about the show is that there are queer people in it, that doesn't even speak to the quality. So that's out the door. That's gone. The criticism of the quality of these products is out the door. Now it's like gay people in it, it's going to be bad. That's it. No more lies. Chris Gore is pulling the curtain back. If queer people are in something, it's immediately bad. He would sacrifice the other elements of the show just to get us out of there. That's crazy. let's take a look here on Rotten Tomatoes. 96%, 81%. That looks pretty solid. As of right now, no campaigns to call for review bombing. We'll see what happens with that. Over here on Screen Rant, Star Wars new TV shows debuts on Rotten Tomatoes scores higher than The Mandalorian 1 and 2. And we're talking about Skeleton Crew, which scored right under Andor, which is a lot of people consider to be the best TV series. So that's pretty solid. I want to get excited about this, but I'm also concerned because I thought Acolyte was a really strong entry into Star Wars TV. Matter of fact, one of the episodes recently was nominated for an award. I think it was the episode Night was nominated for an award. So what do we know, I guess? Internet outrage knows no bounds, I guess. Anyway, jumping back over here to this. I don't have a lot of positive things to say about Chris Gore. This video could spiral into just a lot of name calling, to be quite honest. But I'm just going to leave it at this. I want you guys to remember two things from this tweet. One, he would rather sacrifice a bunch of characters, supporting characters from the show, completely. I don't believe him, by the way. I think this is a lie. But if we're taking him at face value, he would rather sacrifice an entire group of characters from a series than to have gay characters. That's the first thing. The second thing is there's no discussion of quality here. If he does believe that the show is a solid show for kids, and his only complaint is that there are two women together on the show, that's homophobia. That's literally what that is. And I mean that. When I say literally here, this isn't an exaggeration of that term. That is what homophobia looks like. And I fear it's only going to get worse with these groups. I think it's going to become more niche, but those niche groups are going to drive the narrative. Then you're going to have these outliers that sort of leech off of these narratives because they don't want to be the ones to say it. So they're going to let people like Chris Gore and Melanie Mack say stuff like this, and then they're going to leech off of that. That's what's going to happen. All right. Well, I guess keep an eye out for the two moms this week on Skeleton Crew. I'm sure they're going to ruin the entire series as supporting characters, according to Chris Gore.